I call this meeting of the Okaloosa County School Board Workshop to order for Monday, May 11th, 2026. Good morning, board members, superintendent, Mr. McGinnis. All right, let's look at our agenda. First will be the approval of the agenda. 2.1, we do have one change, and that's in the administrative appointments section. We're deleting 4.1, the appointment of program director, academic and student services recommended by the superintendent, so we'll take that off the agenda. All right, moving on down to 3, recognitions. 3.1, this is one of my favorite things. We're going to be recognizing our 2025-26 Kids Tag Art Program winners. We'll have Mr. Ben Anderson, our Okaloosa County tax collector here. It's always fun to have these students here to see their art work and what they come up with, and they're excited, so they're going to be coming this evening. It's great. All right, so on Section 4 on administrative personnel appointments, I've already indicated we're deleting 4.1, but we are going to be appointing on 4.2 principal at Destin Elementary School, because as you recall, back on April 28th, that principal was moved to Niceville High School. All right, moving on to Section 5, we have public comment, agenda items only. We have anything this morning, Mary? No, so we're moving along. All right, 6, we got committee and staff reports. Anything for this workshop? Doesn't seem like it. So let's move on into the consent agenda. 7.1, we'll have the approval tonight. 7.2, approval of the minutes of the student disciplinary hearing of April 27th, 26. Also the minutes of the workshop on that same date and the regular meeting on that same date. 7.3, District 1 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds appropriated to Meg's Middle School for cafeteria tables, and that's Dr. White. 7.4, request as a tag-on bid, ITB 22-618-B, MC HVAC Steam Coil Cleaning Services presented by Mr. Wyndham, Program Director for Purchasing. 7.5, invoices to be approved for payment presented by Ms. Perry, Chief Financial Officer.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank Julie. I appreciate the PO memos that you attached to that. So.
Okay. 7.6, school donations presented by Ms. Perry.
Okay, me again here.
Yep.
Madam Chair. Okay, 1,500 over the last month donated, or year to date, is $522,639.71. I want to give a shout out to Knights of Columbus for $1,000 last month to Laura Hill scholarships.
Great.
Good work.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, thank you. All right, 7.7, authorization to open flight investment account presented by Ms. Perry, Chief Financial Officer.
Madam Chair,
Sure.
Superintendent, this to me is one of the game changers in our school district. Really excited about this program, Fleet. And I know other school districts from across the state are signing up at a pretty good clip right now. I think we have 22 other districts that are part of this. This particular what we're doing here is actually something that's going to be really good for the district when it comes to the financial side of that. I would just think that us moving forward with Fleet, people are going to see how this is going to benefit the school district, benefit our employees in a way that's transformative, in my opinion. So, but I know Julie's going to be heading that up, and this is really exciting. So thank you for getting this in this direction.
No, I appreciate you mentioning it. This was again something that was several months in the making, and just appreciate district staff, appreciate the BOG and the work that they've done to really investigate this, because we didn't just take it at face value. And just again, I think, and echo what you just said, I think this would be a very good benefit for our school district.
Also, when I asked earlier about it, the risk is none to or minimal, if there's any, and that's great. That's rare. So,
Madam Chair, I'd like to add on to that dog pile, but this is business. This is a business move. This is what I do in my business. This is exactly what should be done. The business acumen into this area is perfect.
And I think it's a chance for us to earn money too. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, interest, yeah. That's great, thank you. All right. 7.8, service agreement number 26-118, Tribe 99 Choreography LLC, presented by Mr. Wyndham. 7.9, summer of 2026 agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of the Emerald Coast, Inc., and the School Board of Okaloosa County, presented by Mr. Wyndham. All right, 7.10, renewal of ITB 22-21 fire extinguishers and kitchen hood systems inspection, maintenance, and repair, presented by Mr. Wyndham. 7.11, school readiness provider contract, presented by Ms. Amy Dale, elementary curriculum director, curriculum and instruction. 7.
Madam Chair, on 7.11.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. I was looking through the attachments. So this is for when exactly? This is for next year? I couldn't track it.
Dr. Small?
Hi there, for the summer.
Oh, for the summer,
Yes,
okay.
yes, it's about a month-long program
Okay,
to prepare our most vulnerable and needy students to get ready for kindergarten.
got it, okay.
Okay?
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to 7.12, request for course code adoption for the 26-27 school year, presented by Stephanie Gillis, Specialist, Curriculum and Instruction. And it's my understanding these are elementary accelerated math courses, and they're algebra?
So this is part of Okaloosa Reimagine, and I'll just briefly say, as you know, right now we have students who are going to progress to geometry by the time that they're in 8th grade. And this is something to where right now when these 5th grade students go to 6th grade, they go straight to pre-algebra. They skip over 6th grade. And this is a group of students that have the ability to do so. But now Ms. Gillis and her group have looked through this, looking at 3rd grade specifically, and starting that transition there. So those students in 3rd grade would have a different math curriculum that would prepare them for that accelerated work. So that would go 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way to geometry in 8th grade. So 2 schools will be piloting it in the upcoming year. So just excited about this opportunity and where it potentially will take us as we go into the future.
It's great. It's almost embarrassing though, because I had geometry, but not in 8th grade. What about you, Tim?
I had it in the 10th grade and I barely got through it. So I will just tell you that once I passed it, I was done with geometry. So.
Which schools are the pilot schools?
Hey, Ms. Lewis, how are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you? The 2 schools are Plough and Blue Water.
Great. That's good. That's exciting. All right.
Mhm.
I'll have to check that out.
Thank you.
So real quick, if we're piloting those 2 schools, do you expect to roll out the following school year?
So we will see how that goes, but the expectation will be to continue to add that program in a way where it makes sense for the school. We want to make sure that we have enough students to comprise a course in a class, but we will slowly do it, but making sure that it's done in the right way.
Let me ask you a quick question. How many students do we expect from Plough and Blue Water right now to possibly enroll? Because that's tremendous. I mean, 2 years advanced by 8th grade is a big deal.
Yep.
That's an excellent question. So we are starting with 1 pilot classroom in each school. And so it'll be up to 25 students. They are selecting the students based on their current gifted enrollment and any students who have 95 to 97% proficiency, as well as their equivalent in ELA, because they want to ensure that support as well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And Ms. Lewis, stay right there just in case there's a question. And you want that to be the criteria. So this is a group that really, really excels in math, but to a very high level. So the amount of students that we have in geometry by the time that they get in 8th grade That's not a large number of students. So the sample size is small purposefully because this is a group that truly has that ability mathematically to be in this track. And I think it's a true statement, Ms. Gillis, that the geometry sections are smaller, so to speak, not as many as the algebra sections.
It's gonna be good. Thank you.
Just have a stronger foundation. You know, a lot of times we're pushing those kids in accelerated classes and they don't have the necessary foundation skills to be there. So I think this program is good to really solidify our mathematical
Great.
foundation that we have.
Thank you. Okay, good. All right, moving to 7.13, Just Read Florida, voluntary pre-kindergarten VPK Summer Bridge Program application for 25-26, presented by Ms. Amy Dale, Director of Elementary Curriculum, and recommended by the superintendent. So that's going to be another good thing. So we've done that, though.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Mhm. All right, 7.14, request to advertise a public hearing for world languages, textbooks, instructional materials, adoption, presented by Ms. Tasha Bates, TSA Curriculum and Instruction, recommended by the superintendent. So we talked about ELA last time, and now we're on world languages, Spanish and French.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Section 8, Superintendent's Human Resources Recommendations. 8.1 for information only, employees on administrative leave, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.2, also for information only, deferred retirement option program, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.3, cleared certification requirements and issuance of contracts for the 25-26 school year, presented by Ms. Duran, Program Director for Professional Services. 8.4, employment separations, presented by Ms. Maxey. 8.5, personnel recommendations, presented by Ms. Maxey. And 8.6, employment transfers, presented by Ms. Maxey. And I was wondering if Ms. Maxey could come up, because she and I were having a conversation the other day about the status of putting employees after closing the 2 schools. Would you mind sharing an update with that, please?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. So, yes, we have almost placed all of the instructional employees over at Mary Esther and Longwood, so I'm extremely excited about that. We should have that done early this week. All the instructional folks will be placed, and then we are really going to start going on the support employees this week. We've gotten some of those done, but that's where we're going to be focusing now. But it is moving right along. We are ahead of schedule, so everybody should know where they're going before they leave for the summer, which was our main goal. So everything's moving along.
And I just want to commend you on that, because that's amazing that quickly you've gotten these done. So congratulations to you and your team and everyone that's, I mean, I never expected at this point that we would be that far along. And it's so good for those employees and also in our planning for the district.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and it's not just me. The union has helped tremendously in making this happen, and then also my team, Courtney Huffstutler, Mr. Morello, Mr. Chapman, they have all helped in placing these folks, and then also the employees have really helped. Part of it was we need you guys to communicate back with us and give us your preferences and make sure you're checking your emails, and they have also held up their end of the bargain, which is very much appreciated. So we're doing good.
And I too, so I'm glad that you brought that up, and I would just say to our board, this started several months ago, where Ms. Maxey, the union went to the schools once a month, talked to the employees, so I'm very glad that you said the employees being a part of this, asking questions, but this was a daunting task to make sure that we get folks placed, because remember after that, that's when the whole hiring process continues. And Ms. Maxey says ahead of schedule, and she's being nice with that and very humble with that. She's well ahead of schedule on the instructional side. Some of the front office folks have also found new homes as well, but she'll continue with that next tier, and then continued work happens with those who want to transfer, those with the hiring process. So very busy time of the year. in HR, but her and her team work with the union. Just very much appreciate the way that this is rolled out.
Yeah. And thank you, Ms. Appleberg and Mr. Strong and the others and this cooperation. This is, it's great for our employees and it's great for everyone, so thank you. All right. Okay, so moving along to, that ended our Section 8. 9 is discussion agenda. We have nothing. Section 10, construction program owners representatives business. Mr. Heinley, anything?
I will have a meeting following this meeting, and so I'll give a full report tonight.
And I believe tomorrow's also the surtax meeting, isn't it?
Sales tax oversight
Yep.
tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Gotcha. All right, and number 11, attorney's business, Mr. McGinnis.
No report this morning, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, turning it over to the superintendent on section 12. Sir?
Thank you, Madam Chair, School Board. I want to start off by talking about a few events that happened last week. So first of all, our Chamber of Commerce up in Crestview, also sponsored by Florida Power and Light, had an amazing first annual signing day for our students who are choosing to go straight into the military branches of service following graduation. And I'll say that about 2 weeks prior, when the chamber was briefing me on how this was going to go, they said about 7 students. It was going to be a small ceremony, and we get there, there's well over 20 students, in the entire Chamber of Commerce area where they meet is completely full. It was a reminder to me of not only are we a military community, but also that we are a community that supports our students, supports our schools. The pride that was in that room for those students who signed their name, signifying going into the different branches of service, was amazing. There were military recruiters who were there to take pictures with the students, but also there were members from our current branches of service and the bases that are here that also took part in this. But it was just amazing to see our students that mature, that we're getting ready to embark on their next chapter. So that was very nice, and just appreciate the Chamber of Commerce. We'll have another one that will happen in the south end of the county as well. So just very much appreciate the support of our community. Also want to just another recognition. We have a teacher from Pryor, Mrs. Luann Zant, who received a Read 180 award. And this is individuals who are recognized doing a high level of teaching literacy, but you also have to have the student achievement side of that. And for this board, Read 180 is a program at the secondary level, specifically in middle school, that is helping our students who might be behind on their reading skills, and to help them be a supplement to propel them and push them forward, whether through proficiency or receiving learning gains. But the most important thing is helping them with their reading skills. So just really am excited about Ms. Luann Zant. Also want to say, but I'm just going to mention very briefly, because we probably have a school board member who's going to really want to talk about this one, but we have an individual in our school district who has been named to the FHSAA Hall of Fame. So I'm going to let that just be a teaser, even though some people might see the picture there, but I won't speak about it because that's going to come. But that's a huge, huge deal to be recognized that way. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. A lot of things will be happening, but the thing that I would also say is there's so much that happens each day. The theme for this month is More Good Days Together, which it highlights connections of kindness and mental wellness. But I just do appreciate our school counselors, our mental health counselors, our teachers and administrators, district staff who work on mental health initiatives each day, our care crew who are student ambassadors for this. But this is a month where we do recognize mental health awareness. We also had an amazing event last week. Many of you were there as well. We had Mia, and I'm going to try to pronounce this the best I can, Manganiello. And This is the young lady who attended Walker Elementary, who became an Olympian in speed skating, ended up winning 2 bronze over, I believe, 3 different Olympics. But what was so amazing was just the humility, the way that she connected with the students was nothing short of special. But the message that she also delivered to our students, that if this young lady from Crestview, Florida, where there's not ice, can go ahead and make it to the Olympics, well, so too can you. But what turned into something even more special in my mind was the patriotism that emerged from this event. I want to show you a short clip that just happened organically, and maybe it was planned with the teachers and the students, but it seemed organic, but it was a special moment. And that was just a short snippet. Miss Demers, I thought she was going to be a workman's comp having to jog down behind her the whole way. But that was just an absolutely special moment for those students. And just want to end, as you know, the next 2 weeks will be extremely busy. The last number of weeks has been extremely busy, doing award ceremonies for our underclassmen as well as our seniors. But we have our graduation coming up. And we all know that graduation is not the end, but it's the beginning of a new journey. And just excited about the possibilities of these students. And when they leave our school district, we want them prepared for 3 things: college, the military, the workforce. And I think we have a number of students who are well prepared to do so. And that's all I have right now on this portion, Madam Chair. And if you would, we would like to start with the beginning portions of Reimagine Okaloosa. I've shared with this board we're going to be doing some different things with kindergarten as Dr. Small comes up. Some extracurricular aspects to it, which we're not going to go into today. Gifted and talented, which we're not going to go into today. We talked about the progression of the math, that's piloting. So a number of things will be unfolding throughout this month. But this morning, we want to start with kindergarten and the work that has gone into this to get to where we are today. Dr. Small came in, as you know, I believe it was in the January timeframe. I don't think she's come up for air yet, and we've put a lot on her to be prepared, not only for the next school year, just academically and everything that entails, but for a true Reimagine Okaloosa across multiple fronts. And her team have been nothing less than miraculous, and I appreciate it.
Good morning, Dr. Small.
Good morning.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, I teared up with that rally just a second ago for Rally USA.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. I'm sitting over there getting a big lump in my throat. But that is the way that I feel about what Mr. Chambers has charged me with looking at for the upcoming year, and the way that our team has come together to rally behind even our youngest learners. When I saw those slides today with the military signing, and then that Mia and the kids rallying behind her, I'm thinking about what I'm going to show you today. You can see the picture of the little girl right here. I mean, that signing day could be her in 10, 11, 12 years from now. So this is how forward thinking we're trying to be. That it starts right here with us in kindergarten, making the solid foundation for children who are going to be problem solvers in problems they don't even know exist. They need to be critical thinkers. And they need to be able to have an emotional regulation threshold that is high and not anxiety-ridden when they're given something unfamiliar to them. So with all of those strategic end game thinking skills in mind, we're starting with kindergarten in cultivating those type of thinkers. So have you heard what's new in kindergarten yet? Some of you have, some of you haven't, but I'm gonna try to roll this out for you. We have reimagined learning to just elevate what we already know makes our school district great. We're just bringing it to the next level. And it starts right here with us. It begins in the kindergarten classrooms. So what does that mean? It means not changing what works, but strengthening it. Meeting every child exactly where they are, challenging learners to grow at their very own level, and expanding the hands-on interactive learning, creating consistent and high-quality experiences across all of our schools, not in pockets of higher or lower performing schools, but in every single classroom across the board in Okaloosa County School District. We support the whole child academically, socially, and physically. If you look at the pictures below, these are just snapshots of some of our own OCSD students, but you can see we are planning for art education, music education, physical education. We are preparing students with friendships. We know how important this is to grounding students into their community and extending groups to promote community pride. And of course, we are in the business of enrichment as well. The vision that Amy Dale, Director of Elementary Curriculum, and her team of teachers that have experience in the field of primary education came together and collaborated to come up with this phenomenal acronym, PLAY. It says play, but there's many layers to that are very strategic. For example, P is for purposeful play. Now, that is when children play with purpose. They're actively learning and growing with intentional, supported direction from a teacher. So they discover and play, but at moments, a teacher may capture a carpe diem moment and take, for example, the blocks. And you start with 5, but what happens if you subtract 2? Then add 1 more. And given a chance, students can express how that play develops their academic learning. Which brings me to L, learn. Strong instruction combined with hands-on experience builds what we want. Confident learners, lifelong learners. A is for achieve. You know, every child's growth matters, no matter where they start. We want them to gain in that confidence and in their academic charisma. And we want to celebrate those gains. And then why? You belong. We want every child to have that intense feeling like, I belong here. This is my space. I can do this. We know this is what helps students thrive. Now here's just a sneak peek, like a glimpse inside a schedule, an actual schedule of a kindergarten's day. It's from the beginning of the moment they walk in to the time that they leave, an active, engaging, and hands-on experience. For example, every morning we'll start with a morning meeting with the teacher and the students around the carpet together. They will have, for example, after the morning meeting, an opportunity to play in the learning centers. Then after that, there's literacy time through exploration. And then they might break for recess, and that is movement. In parentheses, you'll see twice a day, because this is a little different than before, because we understand from talking to our teachers and our parents and our families that the cognitive load during kindergarten can be great. they need an extra moment to just offload that cognitive load and get emotionally regulated again for a second time during the day. After that, they may come in from recess and experience some math and science, not in a sit and get environment, but in action. And then we have throughout the day experiences in art, music, and physical education for every child. So this breaks it down just a little bit more where learning comes to life. For example, in the first slide in green, personalized learning for every child. We will have small group opportunity where a child gets an intimate time with the teacher to learn at their level and be guided by a teacher in a close environment. As you can see, that teacher is sitting in a small group at a table. Learning through exploration and play. This is the interactive center and hands-on activities where they can have literacy and math experiences through discovery. You know, this brings me back. Do you remember playing Crack Cash Register? Okay, you remember how really valuable that was? Well, can you imagine with a certified teacher that's knowledgeable in primary education interacting with students at the cash register center? So they learn numeracy skills, they learn about money, they learn about buying for their families and making selections, play money. It all works. We're bringing these centers and opportunities back into the classroom so that they can be directed and build on things that they're interested in. The whole child development section in yellow there is showing what a morning meeting may look like with the teacher with an emphasis on resiliency focus. This will have oral language development where students get a chance to talk with their teacher and to their school community. There will be a library of social stories available and emotional regulation support together in this whole child development concept. In the white is our engaging environments. Look at this little guy. He has little tweezers there, and you see he's using his hands to manipulate the tweezers to move one pom-pom to one bucket into the next. So this is a counting skill, but a strategic teacher also knows that these are the muscles that need to be developed for fine motor skills so that everyone has an ability to have the muscles to hold a pencil properly, to engage in those writing skills that will be forthcoming during that year. So it's very, very clever way to approach kindergarten learning. We have a QR code where that will be available for mobile devices to get an inside glimpse into actually some of the classrooms around our district. And again, the child's journey, like we saw in the slides earlier, how they end up, it really starts right here with us in kindergarten. And I don't want to bore you by reading this, but I do, for our listeners that are kind of chiming in, I do want you to know why to choose OCSD. There's several bulleted points here that are worth mentioning. There's a strong sense of belonging for every child in kindergarten. There's highly qualified and caring staff. There's a safe, nurturing learning environments across the schools, and rich and engaging learning resources. There's on-site specialized services and support and regulation, emotional regulation specialists available at the schools. Family engagement opportunities, which are a lot of fun. And in many schools, there are before and after school care options. Resiliency, Mr. Chambers spoke about this earlier today, but in kindergarten as well, there's characteristics of the month. And this is an example, this is a partnership with the Florida Department of Education, to teach students how to be empowered and to persevere to overcome life's challenges. This will be incorporated throughout the year. Responsible citizenship is also a part of morning meeting. We are going to be teaching those responsible citizenship activities during the 15 minutes allowed during the day to include social stories and trainings. This is a cool piece here. I hope you had a chance to look at that first thing this morning. These are the kindergarten brochures. So this is a big glimpse, but there's a hard copy there. These will go home to our families that will be coming into the kindergarten experience. We're going to mail those home. Ms. Dale has personally visited all of our private providers and VPKs and are forming very strong relationships with those providers. She's given them the brochures. They are going to be able to give them to potential families that are going to be enrolling who maybe have not enrolled already, so that they can get an inside scoop in a picture, in a brochure, but also they're going to be able to scan to have easy access to register, as well as looking inside a classroom. So when a person scans that QR code, this is what's going to pop up.
Let me show you my kindergarten.
At Okaloosa County School District, we're reimagining kindergarten by building on what already makes our schools exceptional. Every child is met where they are, supported, challenged, and inspired to grow. Learning is hands-on, interactive, and designed for how young children learn best. Purposeful play is how children learn, building creativity, language, and problem solving. Strong instruction builds essential skills. Every child grows with support and encouragement. When children feel they belong, they thrive. Each day is filled with joy, discovery, and growth. From morning meetings to hands-on learning, to time to play, explore, and create. Play isn't a break from learning, it's how learning happens. It builds confidence, language, friendships, and a love of school. With caring, high-quality staff, safe and welcoming schools, and support for every learner, we create a place where every child belongs. Begin your child's journey today. It starts with us.
Couple of new signages. And just to elaborate just a little further, it's a connected approach because I want you to be aware that we are training our kindergarten teachers. We always train our teachers, but there is a new initiative to revisit them as early as starting this Thursday on reimagining kindergarten. And again, we are connecting with our VPK private providers in our community, which has been a really great, rewarding experience. And I cannot credit Amy Dale enough for these relationships that she is building in our community. And Amy, if you're watching, thank you very much for all your hard work. Thank you.
Wow, this is so exciting. Thank you so much, Dr. Small.
You're welcome.
One of the things that you kept hitting on that I'm seeing in here that I really like is this sense of belonging and the pride. And it brings me back, Mr. Chambers, when we went to Baker on the town hall. I know you remember distinctly a young man, Michael Richards, that talked about the culture of the school and the feeling of belonging, and that constantly there were people there to help you. Then that's a senior. So at the other end, we have that. So I think this is so important and is going to really, I think we've had that, but I think now we're making that more of a focus. I love the resiliency and teaching students how to, because when you look at our society, we're not doing a real good job of monitoring, getting out there and handling things, are we, when you see social media? So this is great, and I appreciate all the work put into this, and I'm excited. I think it's a real game changer in what we're going to be presenting out to our public. Board members, you have anything?
I do. So at the very end there, we were talking about marketing materials and all that. we understand that parents in Florida have a choice, and we appreciate that choice. But I appreciate the fact that we're not just sitting behind and, just sitting behind and not taking the initiative to grow our school district and to show people exactly what is going on in our schools. And to me, this is huge. This is going to show parents of potential students coming in, because we do know our kindergarten rates are lower over the last few years. So hopefully, when parents have a choice, they'll be able to see this and give us an opportunity to grow their children. So I'm really excited about this. So.
Anyone else?
I'll just also add and say good job. And I think it's really, really good that we're focusing on academics, but also on something that seems to be increasingly important, and that's developing social skills in these young kindergartners. So thank you very much for doing that.
I'll simply remark that I found out about a good chunk of this last week from a group of retired elementary school teachers who are beyond excited that we're recommitting ourselves to basically the fundamentals of what the old guard would say always worked, and that, of no fault of probably this school district or anyone else, but the state hands down a lot of stuff that tries to regulate and regiment and send us into a more standardized, commoditized sort of way to approach kindergarten, and in effect trying to be able to extract data, outcomes, and we lose our way of what has always sort of worked according to folks who've been doing it for their entire lives. And so there's a deeply an excitement to say, hey, we're getting back to the basics. And to Tim's point, letting parents who perhaps have made choices to leave because of oftentimes what you can feel is an undercurrent, the kindergarten's different than when I went through, and we need to get our kids back to basics of what makes sense. And I don't think that's happening in the regular school system, so I'm going to choose a different path. I'm going to homeschool. And helping our folks understand that, listen, in Okaloosa County, your kid's going to get an education in kindergarten that'll be a lot more familiar to you from what you might hear from some of these proponents of other alternatives, and that in Okaloosa County, your child's going to get a great education in traditional public school, and they're going to learn, they're going to belong, and all the things that you thought have been lost. Well, maybe that's true somewhere else, but not here. So it's exciting.
Thank you.
Excellent work. So marketing. And, a few years ago, we wouldn't even thought of that. And you talked about it a couple of years ago. We need to start changing. We got to market ourselves as a school option for the people here. This is excellent. Marketing is the toughest part of business, any business, and you got to try to figure out how to get your message across. This is a good start. I would ask, I know you're sending out a VPK, which is great. Is there a plan to blanket are there children out there or young families that we need to get to some other way? Is it a blanket mailing? I don't know the answer, but we just need to market to these young families. Hey, look what we got. Because, we have stuff that these small schools can't get. Just the economies of scales and that. So, and that's a benefit. So, marketing.
And we definitely appreciate that feedback. And again, a lot of work has gone into this. The next board meeting, you'll hear more about Okaloosa Reimagine. You'll hear a little bit more about what we mean by music and art each day. For students, you'll learn a little bit more about what we mean by the Presidential Fitness Award, what we mean by things that might be a little different in PE, and then how that translates to some competitions across schools throughout the district. You'll hear a little bit more about what we described today of that progression from third grade to geometry as a pilot. So there'll be a number of different aspects of Reimagine Okaloosa that you'll hear about. And not to lose sight of that morning time that we talked about. That'll also translate into secondary as well, where we do some of these, I'll just call them, whether you call them citizenship, some emotional and just different aspects of that to help students and where they are today. So just very excited about what will be rolling out. And again, Dr. Small and your group, great job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I am inspired, and these young people are going to be inspiring us.
That's great. Thank you so much.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, exciting. All right, thank you. All right, moving along to section 13, board members' announcements and requests for information. So I'm going to start with Mr. Heinley.
Okay, a few things from this past week. That Crestview Military Sign, I just want to tell the public, 350 people were up there for that. It was huge. They had walk-up music for all these people. It was exciting, a great turnout. Last week I was privileged to go be a judge for the talent show at Silver Sands. And it went over 2.5 hours, and watching the teachers and the kids it was an amazing experience. And they do such a great job at Silver Sands. It's really remarkable. Also attended one of the sellout things of Footloose at Niceville High School. Richie Jackson over there, the theater teacher, has got that place banging. He said that when he first started, 50 people might show up and they were all parents. But they sold out. I sold out 2 or 3 nights of this thing, so that was quite the show, and I appreciate it. So, continuing my tradition, today is the 11th. Board members, who was the 11th President of the United States?
I looked it up. It's Polk.
James K. Polk.
They took all the fun out of it.
Well, I got one for you. 11 plus 31 is what? Do public math.
That would be 46.
No, 42. So
11 plus 31.
you're not in one of those elevated. Okay. So,
Yeah, you might be
42nd. Who was the 42nd president?
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. Very good. That's all I have.
Thanks for the land.
I did not look that one up, so.
Okay, Mr. Justin?
Oh, I've just got some superlatives tonight. Otherwise, I'm good.
All right. Okay, Mr. Bryant?
I would echo Mr. Hiley's comments about the Footloose program, but I would like to take it even a little bit further, that Mr. Jackson has inspired our theater programs throughout the district, because I also had the opportunity to go to Crestview's performance last week, and I will just tell you that with all of the drama teachers collaborating together and all, you're starting to see some really great performances out of these students throughout all of our high schools that offer arts and all that. I'll also say that Mr. Hiley spent a lot of his capital outlay money at the very first meeting after we were approved, and he's already spending mine on new curtains for Niceville's theater. But all joking aside, I appreciate the fact that we have such a robust theater program. You just can see these students just really taking a lot of pride. For instance, at Crestview, Mr. DeGraff, who has done a phenomenal job in his second year of rebuilding that program, a lot of the kids had never acted before. This was their first time getting up there, and some of those students, I was told, were not your typical students that are going to just go out there and get on stage, and to see the performances out there. And I'm so happy that as a school board and a school district that we support the arts in the way that we do. Can we do better? Of course we can. But we do a phenomenal job now to give them, yep, we do a phenomenal job of giving them the opportunities to have these great programs. And then, of course, Mr. Chambers alluded to Mia coming back home to Walker. What a great thing. And, I also had chill bumps because we were running behind Mia there as she was going up, and the kids were just saying USA, USA. And, that all starts at home with these kids, to have that pride in our country. I had goosebumps, and to actually see it up there on the screen. And I had my granddaughter with me, and we're just cheering on, somebody that came from Crestview, Florida, and won an Olympic medal, two Olympic medals, and from Crestview, Florida in the winter sport division. And yes, in Crestview, we do get snow and ice, so she had opportunity to probably get out there once in a blue moon to put on some skates. But we're so proud of Mia and her family and for all that she has done to represent our county and our school district. And for Walker, what a great thing. They can always have their hat high on a student that was an Olympic champion, and not many schools can say that. We talk about state champions, but how many schools can say they produced Olympic champions? And that's, to me, is just awesome. On this play thing here, Mr. Chambers, I appreciate the fact that we are taking a next step in offering people in our county the choice to choose Okaloosa County schools. And I know Hillary over there and Paul have put together these great videos. Our PIO over here, Ms. Card, does a great job of helping promote what goes on in our school district. I encourage people, parents that are coming up with kids in kindergarten, give us a chance. It's a great program out there. We have some great teachers, some great schools out there that are willing to reimagine how kindergarten's going to be. And I think it's a great option, and we hope you give us a shot. So with that, Mr. Chambers, thank you, and to your entire team out there, our union, everybody that's involved. It's going to be a great school year next year. I'm excited.
Okay, Dr. White?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of items regarding Choctawhatchee High School. Board members, you all know that we have a heavy week of exams this week. We used to refer to these as high-stakes testing, and they're important. In athletics, last week, the Choctawhatchee High School flag football team defeated Paxton, making Choctaw the regional champions and earning those girls a trip to the Final Four at the Florida High School State Championships on May 16th and May 17th in Tampa at the Tampa Bucks Training Center. And that ought to be a great experience.
Hopefully they can bring it home this year. They've been so close over the years.
I know. I read something about 6 or 7 touchdown passes by the quarterback, and as an old coach, I know that means they've got some good receivers too. All right, thank you.
Okay, great. All right, first of all, I want to talk about, real quick, Mia. What I thought was so great, and you kind of mentioned this, was she was genuinely touched at the reception from those students. I mean, here's an Olympic champion. I'm sure she's been interviewed and all that, but she was just mesmerized by the students. She had a great interaction with asking them questions. Always interesting to see what kids come back in their perspective. I know they gave her a shirt. She was just genuinely just thrilled to be at Walker, and amazing to meet her. And Principal Brittany Young did a great job of organizing that, their whole staff. It was just a really exciting thing. So, all right, a couple of things with the Public Schools Foundation. First of all, tomorrow we're doing our Take Stock in Children ceremony. These are the graduates from the program that received the scholarships. So that's exciting. That'll be tomorrow at the Niceville Community Center in the afternoon. So a couple of things coming up this summer that the foundation partners with. First of all, they're going to be doing the medical camp up at Crestview High School. And this is open to Davidson, Shoal River, and Pineview students. So that's exciting to have them doing that. And that's funded by our foundation. And also the foundation sponsors CTE summer camps, a variety of those in all of our different CT areas, whether it be the building trades, whatever. There's several different things. And all of this information will be on our website and will be distributed at the schools for that. So once again, the foundation works really hard, and we're getting ready for, it never stops, stuff the bus, all those things coming back. So our foundation does a lot of things to support our students. All right, here's the stuff. What a week for the Baker Gators last week. First of all, let's talk about Coach Matt Brunson. If you've ever met him, you don't forget him. He is a true personality. But yes, he has been chosen for induction into the FHSAA Hall of Fame for 2026. So let me just give you some stats. His record as a head coach, 288 to 85. 22 playoff appearances, 13 district titles, 12 Final Four appearances, 4 state champion appearances, 1 state championship in 2020. That was the first area state championship in 25 years with a perfect 14-0 season. In addition, when he played at Baker as a linebacker, it was through an exciting streak in the mid-1980s where they won 3 consecutive state football titles and state champions with a 42-game winning streak while he was on the team. So Coach Bronson is a true leader of students. He cares about students. He has a dynamic personality, a lot of fun to be around, and really is dedicated. I am just so happy for. In addition to that, Baker has 2 state champions last week. Pretty good week, right? I've mentioned this student before, junior Will, to your feet, Mark. So he goes down to state. His first throw, he beat the previous state record, the first throw, which was set in 2021. His second throw beats his own breaking record to win the state record, which is the new state record of 204 feet 8 inches that he threw. It's 24th in the nation. He's only a junior. So keep on throwing, Will. It's going to be great. In addition, I want to congratulate sophomore Connor Harmon. He's a state champion in traditional category of weightlifting and the 139-pound class, and the entire team placed 6th. So pretty good week for the Baker Gators, and I'm very proud of them and all they're doing up there. It's quite a school at Baker, so congratulations to all of them. Okay, so let's see if anybody else would like to share anything with us this morning. Staff? Got anything? Okay, over here, Ms. Appleberg, Mr. Strong, come on up.
I wasn't going to speak, but I want to say one thing to you, so I appreciate Madam Chair, Board, and Superintendent. So I wanted to thank Lindsay and her department. This has been a challenging year for placing employees, and so I was thinking 22 years ago, I think it was, maybe 21, Linda Rusnick and I started kind of setting contract language aside and said, what we need to do is get employees where they need to be. Contract language is kind of bump and roll, and that doesn't always lend to where an employee really needs to be. And so today, under Lee, I did that with Lindsay, and of course now she's head of that department. And so I think it's imperative that we look at the employee and the needs of that employee and get them where they need to be. So I wanted to thank y'all for that directive, Superintendent. Thank you for that. And I also wanted to, I know y'all get calls, so I wanted to remind you that we've placed employees that are kind of easy to place, where those openings have come up and where they desire to be, we've got those employees placed. So the tough ones are coming up. And I try to remind employees as openings come available, it makes it a little bit easier to place you. So I know they're getting a little bit frustrated out there because they don't know where they're going next year. But I want to encourage you, and I want to encourage the employees as we get a little bit further in the process. It becomes easier to place those employees as people resign and as they retire or move to other jobs. So just keep that in mind, and if you hear somebody that's struggling, encourage them to reach out to myself or to the HR department, and we can kind of remind them where we're going and what's next. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Strong. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Then we are adjourned.